Scare them to death. All right, go ahead and bring us up, Nancy. All right, thank you. Bannock County Commissioners are back in session. With us today, we have the Senior Activity Center from Pocatello. So go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us your story.
Okay, well, I'm Tara Contreras. I'm the director at the Senior Activity Center.
I'm Daryl Grell. I'm a board member at the Activity Center.
So I just want to share, I joined the Senior Activity Center in October of 24, followed in some pretty big footsteps, but I'm so happy to be there, and thank you for the service you do, for one, and thank you for allowing us to be here today. I'll just tell you a little about this center. The Senior Activity Center is to provide resources, activities, and social engagement for older adults in Pocatello, Chubbuck, and Bannock County. We connect seniors to vital services that empower them to maintain their independence, well-being, dignity, and participation in the community. We offer a wide variety of programs and services that meet the needs and interests of a diverse range of people. We support seniors to stay safe, active, and healthy. Of course, at the core of what we do, and most people know us as offering the lunch, the congregate meal. The benefit of the congregate meal is, one, to improve nutrition. Our members receive a nutritious, well-balanced meal on a regular basis, and the meal itself is focused on the unique needs of seniors, making sure we provide enough protein, calcium, and fiber in their meal. Number two, one of the next reason for the congregate meal is it offers a dietary variety. Oftentimes, our older adults that live alone, even if they have the means and the ability to make meals, it's just not conducive to make a variety, have variety in their meals. So like a lot of seniors will eat just a can of soup or crackers, something very simple, and so they don't get that dietary variety. So by coming to the center and having that lunch, they're not only adding healthy foods to their diet, they're increasing their well-being. Next, the benefit is social connection. Social isolation, which we know from COVID, can lead to loneliness and depression, as well as high blood pressure and early onset dementia. Participants at the congregate meal, participating in the congregate meal allows our participants to meet new people, nurture lasting relationships, and build social supports. And lastly, not lastly, because there's just so many, but the last one I'll mention is greater food security. We help fill the gaps for many of our seniors. On a national level, seniors report that those that participate in the congregate meal, 56% of them report that this is half of their food for the day. That coming to that meal with us is half of the food that they receive in a day. And one of the things that our seniors benefit from is participating in this meal, even though maybe over a course of a year that their physical health hasn't changed. Seniors report that they feel their physical health has changed and that their well-being has changed because of all these things, because they are eating more nutritiously, because they have social supports and more relationships. So there's definitely the physical that comes from eating that meal, but there's also so much that happens mentally. I'll just share, in the last 7 months since I've been at the center, we've experienced a lot of changes. One of the things I walked into was I felt like if our mission is to dignify and empower seniors to live independently, it didn't make sense to me that when they came to the center for lunch, they had to ask for a cup of water. That just didn't seem dignified, and little packets of salt and pepper. So right away we changed that. We put platters on the tables, we got salt and pepper shakers, and we got reusable restaurant grade cups, glasses. And they have water. Plus now they have coffee, that we start serving coffee in the morning that they can come and self-serve themselves. We have that coffee available, milk, and then we've added hot tea and hot chocolate for those that don't want coffee. So we've offered a variety of things and changed it from, I wanted the feel to be, if we can get people there for the food, they'll stay for the relationships, they'll stay for the activities, they'll stay for all the other things. So I've hoped, my hope and intention, and part of why I brought Daryl is because not only is he on the board, but he's also a member, and he is there almost every day and has seen and witnesses and eats the food we provide. So I'll have him share that piece. But I wanted our seniors to experience more of have a dining experience instead of an institutional meal. I don't want the meal just to check boxes. I want it to be an experience that they can enjoy. And we know that the changes are working because our numbers have increased dramatically. I pulled numbers from 2024 and 2025 of just January through April. And in 2024, we served 5,299 meals to 504 seniors. But in 2025, during that same time period, so 4 months, we've served 6,000 meals to 531 seniors. And over the course of this time since I've been here, we've seen about 14 to 15% increase in our attendance. And then, but I'm really proud to say I've also been able to maintain our expenses. I've been spending the same or less than what we were spending previously, but I'm serving 100 to 200, 300 meals more a month. And I'm really proud of that. So we've done a lot in the dining room. We are planning to partner with Sika coming up, and they're looking for someone to provide their meals. So our kitchen is going to be doing that. They'll still keep the contract for Meals on Wheels, but we're going to start providing them their 70 meals 4 days a week to them to help them keep that program going. So I'm excited about that change coming up. And next week we're closing the dining room for 1 week. We're redoing the floors. I feel it's really important to put back into that space that the seniors are in, and the floors were not great. They were warped, and it was a hazard, and they just needed to be redone. So we're investing $20,000 in the dining room next week. So I'll let Daryl, just if you have anything to share about.
Well, I've been going to the center. This is my third consecutive year. I was elected to the board in January. And like I said, like Tara said, I'm there almost every day. I volunteer in some circumstances, either in the kitchen, serving meals, cleaning up, or just whatever help they need. And the main thing is the compliments we are getting from the public is unveiled. And that's because of what she's done for the last 7 months. As it was showing, the amount of people we've increased is just unbelievable. And the atmosphere in the whole entire dining room has changed. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is the mayor brought this up the last 2 times he was at the center for lunch. He said the first time, he said, it was so quiet in here you could hear a pin drop. And now the camaraderie with the people, it is unbelievable. And the compliments we get day in and day out, it just makes you feel good for what we're doing for the community.
Good. That's great. Thank you. Thanks. You're good. Well, in the past, looks like we've given you about $20,000. You want the same ask this year? Or what?
I asked for, I think, a 14% increase
Yep,
just to match.
Yep, you did.
It's $2,800, I think, $2,800.
Yep, so $22,800.
And I just, and as we continue to grow, I mean, the foot traffic that we're having now at the center, on any given day before, we used to have, I think, well, some of you have served at our holiday meals, but Chicken Fried Steak Day was our big day. But now, and last time, we served 154 people on Chicken Fried Steak Day. It's still our big day, but other days we're serving 130, 120. On Fridays, we're typically 112. It's very rare. Daryl checked the calendar. We keep track on just a little calendar, and we had 4 days last month. This month,
under 100.
But they're real close to 100. They're like in the 90s.
3 of them was in the 90s, and one was 88.
So with our numbers increasing, which is good too, also because our quality of our meals have increased, the congregate, they are donating more. We used to get $20. We ask for a $6 suggested donation, but no one is ever required or obligated to donate. And so now we're getting like $130 a day in donations. And people are saying, this, and they're cute because they're, I used to circle days on the calendar that I wanted to attend, and now they're like, there isn't a day I don't want to attend. Like, I want to be here for every meal. And that makes my heart happy because that kitchen has been where I've focused a lot of attention. But the increase, I feel, as we have more foot traffic and more people coming and more use of the kitchen, we're going to have to keep investing in, and as we grow, it's just going to cost us more money.
Okay.
So how much will you gain working with Sika?
It's going to be interesting to see that will be, how much gain in money, profit, or meals?
Yeah, how's it going to benefit the organization working with Sika? Are you going to gain some profit, or are you going to gain some
We'll
money?
gain a little. I'm going to have to hire a couple staff because right now I operate completely off of volunteers and Easter Seals program. So if you're familiar with Easter Seals, they it's a training, they train seniors, low-income seniors, and they pay them minimum wage, and they can only work 29 hours a week. So right now I have 3 kitchen staff that are Easter Seals, and so I just do not have the capacity to add the Sika program. So I'm going to have to hire 1 kitchen manager full-time and probably 1 kitchen staff part-time. So some of that will go to that, but then also from the money we'll receive will go to keeping this kitchen moving, maintenance and upgrades as capacity changes. So I'm anticipating we'll have some, but a lot of it's just going to go right back into the kitchen where it should go.
I love the congregate word.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a lunchtime.
No.
What you're providing there, I appreciate that word. A couple questions I had for you is, you shows Lowe's expense $147,000.
Correct.
What kind of expense is that?
So if you also see on income, there was a Lowe's grant for
Okay.
145, and then we had
Okay.
expense of 145. It was a specific grant to redo our bathrooms, and so we redid the kitchen bathroom, the men's bathroom, the women's, and our handicap bathroom, and that was
So it's a money in and out?
yeah.
Okay, I just had that question.
Yeah.
The other question, you've got a deferred liability from the city of Pocatello. Is that something that you got to pay back to them for some reason, or matching?
Where? Show me.
It's in your assets under your liabilities. It's
82,000. I'll have to.
$82,000. That's a significant, but that almost, because it's almost a reverse thing.
Yes.
It's a negative amount. I'm just curious as to what that deferred, I assume that's what that is. deferred
I
revenue.
may have to look into that. I'm new to all of our,
Okay.
from October. Not everything am I familiar with, and so I'll have to look at if that has something to do with the value of our building, because we pay $1 to rent. I don't know if that's what it
I
is,
don't know.
or if it's something else, but I will find out
I
and message Christy.
Just
I'll email
a
Christy.
question on your, so do you know Victor?
That's my dad.
Oh, okay. So, I see the name of Contreras. and
Yes.
I know Victor, or I did years ago. He may not claim me now, so.
He was probation and parole.
Well, I didn't know anything.
No, no, I didn't mean that. Just a lot of people know him, like if you were in law enforcement or legal or any of that.
I think he dabbled in real estate a little.
Oh, yes, long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
Since and you brought his name up, he happens to be one of my success stories right now that I talk about, and I'll share it with you just because you happen to know him. So, and this is a common story. Victor Contreras, my dad, had gone to the senior center. He retired, and a lot of his identity and a lot of his purpose was his career. And that's true for a lot of men, women too, but I think for a lot of men. When he retired, I know that he spent a lot of time, and he'll tell you, in front of the TV. And because all of a sudden, even though he has a very big family and he's very involved with them, he didn't have a purpose, really. And it was all of a sudden gone. So he spent the first year of his retirement watching TV. And then he did substitute teach up at Highland, and that he really enjoyed that. And then COVID and everything, and that stopped. Well, he was back to watching TV. And when I started at the senior center, I told my folks, I'm like, you've got to come down. You've got to come and participate in this and this. And they kind of blew me off. And I'm like, just come and try the meals. Well, so they came. And my mom's pretty busy. She's got a lot going on. But my dad, he started coming like every day. And now he sits with someone different almost every day. And now he's playing pinochle. And he's volunteering on the car show fundraiser committee and the golf committee. And he will tell you that now he has a reason to set an alarm. He has a reason to get up each day. And not that and I don't want it to sound like he didn't have a reason to get up, but he just got up when he needed to as a retiree. There was no urgency or push. And now outside of me, this is him enjoying. I sit on the outside and I can see him enjoying and building those relationships with people. And I see what it has done for him. And if I talk to a lot of the men and women too, women are very social. We can find a million reasons why we can get together. But men are a little more purpose driven. And so, I can see him as the example of a lot of the men at our center, whether they're playing billiards and they feel their mission is to keep the pool room clean, or Daryl is there serving. He runs to the food bank and picks up our food every week, and he's serving. And I mean, just people have this sense of community, and they have an obligation and purpose again. And so it's just funny that you brought him up, because he is a success story of what happens on a grander scale for our members.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And you guys do a marvelous job of filling the gaps and the needs for our seniors in the area. So.
And it's growing, and I worry. I don't want to sound like but just with changes coming on a national level, I don't know what's going to happen to our funding. And so I'm kind of in this we're bracing ourselves for what could happen. Maybe it won't, but and I know that there's a lot of people out there and outreach. There's a lot of our seniors that aren't coming, and we're seeing a real grassroots recruitment happening, because our seniors are grabbing their neighbors, and they're like, every day we have 2, 3, 4 more registration forms coming in, and because they're starting to want to bring more people. And so we have good problems ahead of us.
Good.
Thank you.
So what's your goal of what money keeping in reserves?
We like to stay right around our 3 years expenses, and I think we're there right now. Just in case the bottom fell out, we could maintain for that long. 2 to 3 years.
That's pretty lofty. I mean, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep 6 months, and others try to keep a year, and it just.
Well, where so much of what we do is grant based. I have the county and Pocatello and Chubbuck are some of my funds that I don't want to say I can count on, but I kind of count on. But everything else is, and then we have the money that we get from CCOG per meal, but we get reimbursed $4 per every meal we serve, and it costs me $10 to $14 a meal. So that difference I have to go and find. And so if for so much of what comes into us is that grant writing and fundraising, if something were to happen, it would be all gone really fast. So, yeah. And that came before me. Anita did very well to kind of put that cushion in there. But as you can see, this last year we were $11,000. We've also refined our grant writing that it's not double dipping, but that we're making sure that everything is line itemed, so that we're not asking for more than what we're using, and that the money that we ask for is going to the exact thing that we asked for.
Well, a couple of years ago, there was quite a push for a new building and everything, and that's kind of died down. I haven't heard a lot about that, and that's what I just wondering, where are these funds and
Yeah, no.
where are we going with them now?
But I mean, we're very lucky to have the building that we have from the city, but we could take care of all the upgrades and all the maintenance, and like this floor was much needed, and it's $20,000. And if I do anything in the kitchen, those commercial kitchen ovens, I mean, they're
Expensive.
big expense. So we could be, a big maintenance or anything can wipe us out, could put a big ding in all that, so.
Just a heads up, if you're gonna remodel any kitchen, brace yourself. Because with the new fire codes and everything else, what they require now, one of the biggest tragedies of any, senior center or whatever is kitchens. That's one of the most dangerous parts. I can tell you because I know somebody that's part of the city of Pocatello, and they can shut somebody down in a hurry if you
Oh,
put
yes.
the wrong vent in or whatever. Just be cautious about your expenses because they may surprise you
Oh, yes.
when you try to walk into that.
Hopefully, we don't have to do any structural, it's just like ovens and freezers and
Yeah,
commercial dishwashers and those types of things,
yeah,
but,
those are it, but anytime you deal with stoves and ovens, then your exhaust system, your suppression,
oh, yeah,
boy, that can eat your life.
yeah.
Expenses on it, so.
Okay, well, we're at the beginning of
thank you.
budget season, so we'll let you know. But
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for your stories, appreciate it.
Come have lunch with us. I know you come and serve, but you really need to come and sit down and visit and see what's happening. Like Daryl said, the mayor came in and just was,
It's changed 100% in the
Yes.
last 7 months. It's unreal.
so come and have lunch. Look at the menu and pick a day and come over.
Pick a day, huh?
Yep.
All right,
It'll be hard for you to pick because we've got some good stuff.
Yes, we do.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, up there where my mom and dad were, they just did a little minor remodeling and never got a building permit. Well, my boy happened to go up there to see mom and dad. Well, by law, he has to,
Yeah.
well, it took a year later, because they had to, you have to have the new hoods, they have, it took forever.
It is a commercial kitchen.